Oh my god, I just popped it. I just got it. Let's fucking go, dude.
Man.
I still need to do one more trophy. One more trophy. On December 7th, 2023, during the Game Awards, a surprise announcement was made. It was about a game that I had been keeping my eyes on for a very long time, and they did something that no one was expecting them to do. They shadow dropped a completely new free FPS game that was something the gaming world had never seen before. Do you remember what game that was?
Well, I do, and you should too, because it's what this video is about. A game that took Sandra's 5 months to get the Platinum Trophy for.
That's right, Scotty. This is about the world's greatest game show, the finals.
The Finals was developed by Embark, a newly created studio that consists largely of former DICE employees. You know, the developers of the Mirror's Edge and Battlefield franchises. Which, if you've seen the trailers or any of the gameplay so far, The Finals takes a fair bit of inspiration from both of those. However, the Battlefield franchise has somewhat fallen off a steep hill in recent years, and the developers over at Embark decided to capitalize on their experiences making some of the greater Battlefield games by creating their own game. Aside from playing the actual game itself, there was one thing I was very excited for, and that was the Platinum Trophy. However, what I didn't realize back then was that the Platinum for this game would be the craziest grind I would ever undertake for a Platinum Trophy. And I've Platinumed quite a few games already. Not only does the guide for this game state that it's an 8 out of 10 difficulty, but also estimates that this game will take 750 hours. What the actual flip? That is on Fortnite levels of time to platinum, and almost 6 months after release, at the time of recording this video, only 135 people have platinumed this game so far, which actually makes it a rarer platinum than Fortnite itself. So after booting up the game for the first time, it didn't take long for me to unlock my first trophy, because after that trophy popped for reviving a teammate, there was no going back. We were now officially locked in. I also noticed some differences from back when I played the beta from a few months back, such as in UI, balance and maps, and this video will also showcase just how much the game has evolved over those first 5 months. But before getting ahead of ourselves, we had some trophies to unlock. The first few were super easy, like inserting a cash box for the first time and playing 3 rounds. The fourth trophy we unlocked, however, was the first major milestone and beginning of the grindiest trophy I've ever attempted. The trophy I unlocked was for obtaining a total of 100,000 cash. That 100,000 cash equates to 0.2% of the total amount needed for the Platinum Trophy. Because the grind for this game is the Deep Pockets Trophy, where you have to obtain a staggering 50 million cash. This trophy alone is the sole reason this game takes forever to platinum. Let me quickly explain how getting cash works in this game so you at least understand what the struggle is going to be like. The main game mode of the finals is Cash Out. It's a tournament-based game mode where teams of 3 fight against 3 other teams of 3 to open a vault, deposit that in the cash out, and defend it until the timer runs out. On average, the winning team would get anywhere between 30 to 40,000 in cash. If you're not the winning team, however, you might get anything from 15,000 to as low as under 5,000 cash. On average, I was getting about 100,000 cash per hour, and per my calculations, that would take me 500 hours to get the 50 million I needed.
Sounds like you need to start grinding, bro.
Yeah, I know, Scotty, but that's a very long time, so keep an eye on the cash tracker on the right hand side, whilst we work on some of the other miscellaneous trophies first. As most of the early trophies came from just playing the game, I got another trophy for playing 10 rounds with the medium build, but once again, that was only a minor trophy as we would later have to get 150 wins, not only for the medium class, but also for the light and heavy classes. So yeah, we'll also be working on that in the background whilst attempting some of the miscellaneous trophies, and unlike the trophies I've earned thus far, these were not easy. Starting with the trophy to kill someone whilst emoting, which seemed near impossible, so I just used the trick to kill myself whilst emoting, and that apparently counted. So, nice. Then I got a trophy for dealing 1 million damage to the incredibly destructive arena, and soon after that, I attempted to kill someone with an explosive mine on a carryable, which is much easier said than done, but thankfully only took a few attempts to pop another trophy. Oh, and I also made a new contestant, which popped yet another trophy. Now that I have done some of the first trophies, I started trying out the different classes, such as the light class. This class offered more of a sneaky guerrilla type of gameplay that was able to go in and out of fights quickly, but because of the lower health, I really really did not enjoy playing it as much as the medium, which is the quote-unquote normal class with assault rifles and a support role. I got to play 10 rounds with light done, but I found a use for the light class much later on, which I would use for the deep pocket trophy so much more. Next, I got a trophy for stealing a cash out with less than 10 seconds remaining to give me a nice bit of cash, which really is one of the best feelings to steal and win in the last second of a round, and one of the many incredible things about this game. Excuse me, because although I'm still only a few hours into the game, I very quickly realized how much fun this game was. Like, truly, I was having a lot of fun. But just one round after stealing that cash out, I got another trophy for playing 3 tournament rounds, which if I was actually good at the game would have already meant that I got the 3 wins in a row for a trophy, but we choked in the last round, so it wasn't until the next day that I got the crowd pleaser trophy. And most of these trophies early on were just from playing the game naturally, like killing 5 enemies holding the cash box, getting 300 kills with guns, and reviving 50 teammates. I also randomly got a trophy for hitting someone in the head with an explosive canister without even purposely going for it, which was a really nice surprise. The next trophy I attempted was called Speedrun, and that was one that looked a little daunting when looking at the requirements. Depositing a vault within 15 seconds of opening it can be quite challenging, as the vault and deposit can spawn anywhere around the map. That makes it a very RNG heavy trophy to have the 2 correct spawns that even make this possible. I was keeping my eyes open for any chance that the correct spawns were given, and then I had to hope that no enemy team was there to destroy my dreams. Luckily, the stars aligned for me to get this done and out of the way fairly quickly and pop another trophy. Next, I tried out the heavy class and quickly got a trophy for blocking 25,000 damage, and I got to play the heavy 10 times trophy not long after that. And the heavy class was definitely a much stronger build, like literally. You have much more health, a lot of destructive power, including when the nuke meta was around, that was a whole thing, but also very many helpful gadgets for you and your team to steal or defend a cash out. Thankfully, I already got the trophy for stealing in the last 10 seconds out of the way, but now it was time for the opposite trophy of that, where I start a cash out with less than 10 seconds remaining. So after carefully waiting just a few extra seconds to deposit the cash box, I got another trophy done. But the deposit I just did was from very close range. The next trophy I had my eyes on, however, required me to throw the cash box into the deposit from 20 meters or further. And this was the first trophy I truly struggled with. There's only maybe 1 or 2 opportunities per game to deposit the cash out with your team, and then you need to somehow survive running to the deposit after opening the vault, but then also throw it from 20 meters. Like, bro, I kept trying to do this over and over again, but it was so stupidly difficult for some reason. It wasn't until later that I realized the light, medium, and heavy classes all have different throwing strength, meaning that one throws further than the other. So after training for this trophy in the firing range and trying to line myself up perfectly, I finally got it after so many tries. And I also know that this guy got the trophy because this is the most insane clutch throw I have seen in the game.
Oh, dude. Oh my god, bro.
Oh wow, that is a nice throw!
Yeah, but watch this, Scotty, because I also became quite good at throwing sometimes.
Oh, look, Sandres is trying to flex his skills on us.
Yeah, I can see him improving already, but he's got a long way to go to become a finals frontrunner.
Okay, well, I'm still only 3 days into the game, but I was making nice progress in getting the trophies I needed. The Deep Pockets trophy specifically though, not so much, as I wasn't earning a lot of cash. So I started experimenting with ways to get a consistent amount of money, because one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that if your squad gets wiped in the cash out game mode, you lose 30% of your cash. That means that you actually lose progress towards the trophy. And it wasn't until later that I realized something about this feature that surprised me much further into the trophy. But since I and many others still needed a consistent cash flow, the community of trophy hunters realized that the most consistent and reliable way to make money without losing it is through the game mode Bank It. Bank It is basically kill confirmed. The only twist is that you have to deposit the coins you pick up at one of the timed spawn deposits that move around the map. You can't lose money in this game mode, so anything that you deposit and see in the upper left hand corner is money that you actually keep. And since that was the best thing to do, I started playing that to switch things up when I wanted to truly focus on that pesky Deep Pockets trophy. However, I wasn't able to fully dive into that just yet, as I still had many miscellaneous trophies and a few grindy ones to go for first, such as simply destroying the sky bridge on one of the maps, using an emote after killing a player, and eliminating an opponent stealing the cash out 10 times. Those were easy trophies, but the next one I attempted was the complete opposite of that. The trophy Space Rock Skipper requires you to have a meteor bounce off of your jump pad, which sounds simple on paper until you realize there are multiple annoying things that need to line up for this trophy to unlock. Firstly, you need to play as the medium equipped with the jump pad, then you need to hope that your lobby spawns the randomly generated event Meteor Shower, and then you need to find the right position of where the meteors are falling down and hope and pray that a meteor lands on top of it. It is insanity. It's pretty crazy all of the things that need to line up, because even when the meteor event does spawn, you need to drop what you're doing and sprint over there wherever that meteor shower is. It's just crazy. I cannot explain how happy I was when I magically got this done after countless of tries to line it up perfectly. So thankfully, that's one of the most annoying trophies out of the way. Next up were a few others I struggled with. One easy one first, and that was a simple 25 kills with gas. Okay, nice, but the next one was a stupid painful thing to do, because I had to get a kill with a flower pot. I needed to get someone weak before even being able to throw the flower pot onto them to kill them, as it only does like 20 damage. So I came up with a great plan to use the automatic turret placed on top of the flower pot to get the enemy weak and then throw the flower pot onto them. And to my pleasant surprise, it worked flawlessly. Another trophy was a strange one where I had to kill someone with a headshot using the last bullet in my magazine. This was a trophy that I struggled with for ages because I was always thinking about it, but when just playing normally, I could never get it done. I think the sniper would have worked better to do this, but I'm not a great sniper, so I just used the revolver. This did work much better because after a few intentional misses, I popped the golden bullet trophy. Whilst I'm very slowly making my progress to the 50 million cash I needed, I was already on my way to the next trophy. This time the bomb bouncer trophy, where I needed to kill someone with a grenade that bounced off of a jump pad. This was once again just dumb and annoying. Yet again, things have to line up perfectly for this. I tried multiple tactics, but the closest I got was a hit marker. However, after using a big brain move on this enemy in this close quarter area combat scenario, I was extremely glad to get this done, because this was such a stupid trophy. Holy cow, did this take a few tries. And just 95 seconds later, I popped another trophy for eliminating 3 players with 3 different items or carryables within 10 seconds. Except I still don't know how or why this trophy popped, as I don't think I met the requirements, so if you know why,
just let me know.
At this point, the regular cash out and the occasional bank it games were getting a little stale, so I decided to try out the ranked mode. Ranked was a lot of fun and something I focused on much more in Season 2 of the finals, but for now it was just a way to play something different. Funnily enough though, I actually popped the Resident Doctor trophy for healing 25,000 health, and the Showstopper trophy for winning a tournament in my first ever ranked match, so that was nice to get done. So we'll come back to ranked in Season 2, as I had a few ideas up my sleeve to make things a little bit more spicy.
Yeah, boy.
In the meantime, however, I decided to focus on some fiery trophies for getting 25 kills with fire, and then another trophy for getting 5 kills in a round whilst on fire, which isn't particularly difficult. Just throw a fire grenade on your feet and start shooting normally, but because you lose so much health quickly, and because the game doesn't tell you when you are truly on fire, and it really made for a few very frustrating rounds. However, it now meant that only a few miscellaneous trophies remained before the grindy trophies came into play, which I've been working on in the background, but you know, the grind's the grind, so it takes forever. So the next miscellaneous trophy I got was for winning a game without dying, which if you're struggling with can also be earned if you just join a game in the last few seconds, but it's really not too difficult. Just get good like Scotty.
Hey, he did it just like me!
The next 5 trophies I had on my list were all very daunting and incredibly annoying to do, which is why I waited so long before attempting them. Because the clip and slide trophy really should have just unlocked earlier, but it's an actually really difficult one. So I never intended on going for it directly, as I was just hoping to pop it during my natural gameplay, which it turns out happened. And the busy body trophy required me to pull out a sword and get 3 kills within 10 seconds, which wasn't too difficult, and I got it within a few tries. The dodgeball champion, however, took more than a few tries, like a lot more. This trophy was again so dumb. Hitting an opponent with 3 different objects within 15 seconds is beyond stupidity. It's actually near impossible to do this, because you'll maybe hit 2 objects on the opponent and then get killed, or you'll miss that crucial 3rd hit. I mean, there were so many factors that didn't help with this trophy. Thankfully, I encountered a noob in my lobby, which led me to hit him 3 times with 3 different objects, whilst he just didn't know what to do. So thank you to Davey Boom Boom for helping me get this ridiculous bronze trophy out of the way. Just a few games later, I popped 2 trophies, the first being the Highway Patrol trophy, where I have to get 10 kills whilst riding on a zipline, which took so many tries. Like, you need good aim for this, because otherwise there's no way you're getting this. I got all of them naturally, and when I got the last kill, I was very happy to not have to focus on that anymore. My second to last miscellaneous trophy was to get myself killed by my own grenade, which thankfully didn't happen until I decided to get it on purpose and pop the Butterfingers trophy. There was 1 trophy remaining left that I had to go out of my way for, which was to get a kill with a cash box. The rest was basically just for playing, like all of the grindy trophies. But I struggled with this specific trophy a lot. So we'll come back to that later because I just couldn't get it done. And just to give you some context as well on where I'm at right now, I'm about 1 month into the game, but nowhere close to being done. Because after that 1 month of playing, I was sitting at around 10 million cash. It's like, I need 50. Like, bro, do you see how much of a grind this is now? 1 month of playing almost daily, and I was still only 20% of the way there, whilst having most other trophies already done. Don't get me wrong, like, I was still having a ton of fun, like, genuinely. It even got to a point where I was probably a little addicted to playing the game and just wanted to keep playing for that one more game each time. The game was seriously just a breath of fresh air from the regular Battle Royales and Call of Duty arena games. The finals really offered something truly unique, but my opinion shifted towards the end of the Platinum Trophy because the grind was
just getting started.
I was going to use the most effective method, which was bank it, but to my very pleasant surprise, this was also around the time that Embark gave us some more game modes to experiment with. These game modes would be limited time modes only available for a week or 2, and the first one that they implemented was incredible. A mode I wish they would bring back, not only because it was the most effective way to get cash, but also because it was just a ton of fun to play. It was a variant of bank it, but this time solo. Solo bank it was just phenomenal. Like, it's literally in the name, but it was the same as bank it except without a team, meaning it was all up to myself. This made getting cash and winning so much easier because you weren't reliant on your teammates and enemy teams grouping up on you. If I lost a fight, it was down to my own mistake, and if I won, I'm just better. It turned out that this mode was about twice as effective as normal bank it. Games that I won would often last under 5 minutes, and more often than not, with much more than 40,000 cash I needed for the win. I was getting regular 50 to 60,000 cash from my wins, and even if I didn't win, I was still getting cash for simply killing people. It was fabulous, and I should have played it much more during the 2-week period, because when those 2 weeks ended, we got a different version of Solo Bank It. It was still Solo Bank It, but this time only as a pre-made heavy build. This meant that everyone was using the same heavy class as everyone else, and this variant simply wasn't as good. You move slower as a heavy, everyone can push you off of the deposit, and the general flow of the matches was whoever showed up to the fight last won. It was still very effective cash-wise, but not nearly as much fun, which meant I played some regular cash out in between matches and actually popped one of the first grindy trophies in getting 150 gadget kills. After those few weeks of solo bank it bonanza, I had made a nice amount of cash through it. Sadly, these modes never returned, and I do regret not playing it more during that time. But after about 130 hours now, we were sitting at 15 million cash. Not bad, but not great. Thankfully, we still had some trophies to go for as well, so it wasn't just an empty grind just yet. I finally popped the trophy for getting a kill with a cash box after so many tries. It's pretty stressful getting that kill, as everyone in the lobby knows exactly where you are with the cash and is hunting you down. But after many tries and misses, I got the last specific miscellaneous trophy done and was left with only the grindy ones. It meant that just 7 trophies remained between me and the Platinum Trophy. Luckily, I could play towards these trophy requirements while still making cash and slowly making progress deposit after deposit.
Look at him go, June.
I know, Scotty. He's got a long way to go.
I started working on the 150 medium wins first, since that was my favorite and most played class so far, each win getting ever so slightly further and further towards the 150 wins needed, and this wasn't bad at all. Like, I was just playing the game normally without any trophy requirements in the back of my head. It was just grinding cash and getting wins, which after 150 wins allowed me to pop the medium rare trophy and move on to the light and heavy classes. I was playing both classes in between playing the medium, as it would make the grind less repetitive, which was a good thing because switching up the classes and playstyles really made the game more fun. I was mainly using the light build when playing Embarked, as it was very useful for that mode specifically. This allowed me to be extremely sneaky moving through the map and surprisingly effective cash-wise. I ended up getting the trophy for 150 melee kills done around this time too, for simply killing whilst meleeing, but the grind was going very slowly, and I could see this becoming extremely boring if I didn't add some spice to it. Because of that, I made a challenge to myself. I said earlier that I really enjoyed Ranked in Season 1, but didn't play it as much. For Season 2, however, things changed, because I went balls deep into that by setting myself the challenge to reach the highest rank in the game, Diamond 1. I know I'm a good player and can definitely hold my own. I've got experience in Ranked in other FPS games, and I played these games competitively in the past, so why not try to reach the highest rank, right? It would add some spice to an otherwise boring grind fest to reach the untouchable 50 million. So with the launch of Season 2 that brought some changes to Ranked, I did my placement matches, inevitably got the highest placement rank possible, Gold 1, and got to work. I would need to get through the entire 4 divisions of Platinum, then move into Diamond and grind out all the way to Division 1. It wasn't going to be easy, but I had faith and trust in myself that this was possible. And once again, Ranked was also very fun, like very fun. So much so that I managed to do well as a solo queue player, which is all I had done so far. In my almost 180 hours in the game, I had done everything solo. Why? Well, because I have no friends to play with, but also because I thought it would make the game an even bigger challenge. However, I realized by now that I still had so much grind left, I was getting bored and needed someone to squad up in Ranked with, so I called upon my good friend Mr. NL Panda. I persuaded him to join me on the finals with my grind to Diamond 1 and the Platinum Trophy. And what would you know, after starting the grind towards Diamond 1 and just 10 games of playing together, I popped a trophy for playing 10 rounds in a party. It's just pretty crazy that this trophy took me 180 hours to unlock, but whatever. After that, it didn't take long for me to get promoted for the first time and move into Platinum 4. Since I had already gotten the medium wins done and Heavy was quite the meta in Ranked, I played him a lot. It made playing the game a whole lot of fun. Working towards a challenge I set myself whilst also working on the Platinum was perfect. I was just thoroughly enjoying the game. I've said it countless times, but truly, I really like this game. I was making my way through the ranks, and in no time I found myself in Diamond already. I just had 4 divisions to get through to make it to the top of the leaderboards at the highest rank. Unfortunately, my friend Panda was not always online, and although playing ranked solo queue isn't terrible in this game, it definitely didn't make it any easier. So whenever he wasn't online, I was either making very slow progress in ranked, or grinding away in Embarked to be as efficient as possible in my cash buildup. But I realized that playing with people was so much more fun that I wanted some friends to grind this game with, and to my very pleasant surprise, a wild Sega's Hollywood appeared. You know, the sports platinum guy. Together with Kreft, we 3-stacked and started grinding away in Embarked. And this is where everything changed. If I was playing Embarked by myself, I was making about 100,000 to 150,000 cash per hour, which wasn't bad, I thought. But when we were playing as a 3-stack, communicating and actually strategizing how to be as effective throughout the lobbies, holy fuck does that change things. The 3-stack that we had was something the finals had never seen before. An almost unbeatable squad was born. Like, no joke, we were winning about 95% of our games. It was insane. We were making so much money consistently, often getting much more than the 40,000 needed for the win. 50, 60, or even 70,000 in one game was not unheard of. Sometimes using the craziest tactics such as unaliving ourselves in order to get as much cash as possible. I was getting about 100,000 cash as a solo, but with the Dream Squad assembled, we were averaging 250,000 per hour. It was insane and honestly brought hope to what would have otherwise been a terribly long slog. The tactics were great, the vibes were immaculate, and the cash was flowing. It literally didn't even matter what my loadout was. I could play as a heavy to shield the deposits, light if I wanted to stay sneaky, or medium if I wanted to to get some kills. Speaking of kills, the best gun in the game and my personal favorite was the FCAR. So much so that whenever I was playing medium and using the gun, I got the max level 7 camo without even thinking about it. I was also close to max camo with the MP5, defibs, grenade, heal gun. I mean, at this point, I don't even know which one I don't have near max level. It was just a fun way to grind things on the side and go for some sort of extra challenge on the side of my already existing challenges. Speaking of, we should really get back and check on that ranked grind, which was still going great. I'd made it to Diamond 3 and was steadily progressing, with lobbies getting more and more challenging as we went on. I even came across fellow trophy tuber Bad Driver, who was also going for the platinum, so that was funny. And after some more and more and more and even more grinding, I actually ended up in Diamond 2. I'd not gotten this far yet, but I was getting win after win and was rarely losing games. It got to a point where I was so incredibly close to Diamond 1, I could just literally smell it. I kept checking the leaderboards to see how close I was getting, and turns out I made it all the way up to place number 390 on the global leaderboards. Not bad, as about top 300 would be Diamond 1, meaning I was only maybe a win or two away from reaching my goal. However, things quickly took a turn for the worst as I went on a terrible losing streak. This wasn't a one-night fluke, but it kept going on for a while. My friend Panda wasn't always available to help me out, which meant I was going in solo queue, which occasionally went incredibly well. I mean, look at the cash we made from this round, like holy fuck. But more often than not, it's just very difficult to be on the same wavelength with randoms, which meant I dropped all the way down to Diamond 3 again. I tried to go back up in solo queue, but all this resulted in me was falling in and out of Diamond 2 and 3 over and over and over again. So yeah, at that point, with just a few weeks remaining of the season, I decided to back out of ranked and simply go back to grinding for the cash again. Sadly, I had failed my challenge and decided to just move on.
It's a shame, Sandres, but I really think this is just down to a... what do we call that again, Scotty?
Skill issue?
Luckily though, a few other modes were introduced in the meantime to farm some cash, like Power Shift for example, which is honestly quite fun, where you basically play a tug-of-war game of pushing the platform back and forth, but since you don't make nearly as much consistent cash, if anything, meant it just wasn't a smart thing to play at all. Then later the Terminal Attack game mode was introduced, which many people loved, but in my opinion is a terrible game mode. It's literally just a Rainbow Six Siege or Counter-Strike game mode, but it is insanely unbalanced, and with no healing or revives, it is just horrendous in my opinion. And this happened before I actually realized that these game modes don't count cash towards the trophy at all. Like, your in-game cash will go up, but your PlayStation trophy counter does not calculate this cash for the trophy. What the flip? I mean, that in general just meant that the cash from those game modes was basically irrelevant, and the only real game mode to play was still Bank It. So I went back to grinding that game mode with Seg and Kreft, and I soon unlocked 2 trophies tied to winning with the heavy class, and then a little later with the light class. With those 2 out of the way, there were literally just 2 trophies remaining between me and the finals platinum trophy. Now, if you've looked at that trophy list before, you might realize I haven't done one of the most basic trophies yet. That's because we were saving that for last. First, we had to get the Deep Pockets trophy done, and well, we still have more to go. I got past milestone after milestone, always creeping up ever so slightly, making more and more progress until we eventually approached the remaining last 10 million cash needed. And that's after already spending 297 hours in this game. It was at this point that I wanted to spice things up again. The camo unlocks were going fine with different weapons, the ranked grind was unfortunately not happening due to a skill issue, which meant something new had to be thought of. And so I decided, fuck it, let's start live streaming. Live streaming really brought some new life into the grind. I started streaming over on Twitch and it was a genuine blast. So here's a quick plug, follow me over on Twitch if you want to hang out, although I'm also streaming over on YouTube at the same time, so it's up to you. Anyway, back to it. We started to approach the final few million. Our squad came to an interesting conclusion. It was about the way that the trophy system calculates how much cash you have obtained. Obviously, the in-game amount showed how much exactly, but the trophy counter was different. We saw that it was calculating any cash that you had obtained during a game and not finished the game with. This meant that every time I lost 30% of the cash we were holding due to a squad wipe, that money still counted towards the trophy. It meant that because of all the ranked and cash out grinding I had been doing and getting squad wiped countless of times during that, I had built up a whopping 1.5 million of invisible cash. It was on the PSN trophy system, but not inside the game, and it meant that I had no longer needed 50 million exactly, but only up to about 48.5, and that's a big amount less and reawakened something in me. I could actually see the end. I could almost touch it at this point. However, once again, I wanted to spice up things a little bit more. I saw that another game I was very excited for had finally announced their release date. It was set 3 weeks from their announcement. What game am I speaking of now? XDefiant. A very different game to the finals, but one that I equally had my eyes on for ages and was very excited for. With that game coming out in 3 weeks, me being only a few million away from the platinum, this is the point where I locked the fuck in. I was going to grind so much to get the finals platinum done before XDefiant comes out. I could smell the finish line, I could feel the platinum. Was I going to make it and get the platinum in time? I had no clue, but I sure as hell wanted to so I could get it done and just focus on the next game, XDefiant. Which, side note, doesn't have a platinum trophy. Why the fuck not, Ubisoft? There's no reason for it not to have a platinum trophy. But anyway, looks like we're going for the 100% instead, but only if we get the finals done before it. So I started grinding away like never before to reach this deadline. I was playing every day, streaming each and every session, having a blast, but only getting more and more drained with each and every hour that I was playing. It wasn't so much the game itself, I was still genuinely having fun and I really liked the gameplay. It was just the fact that it was the same thing over and over and over again. 5 maps with slightly different variants and only one game mode that was worth playing for money was just stupid. I tried to play the occasional other game mode like Cash Out, which sometimes resulted in some huge wins, and I was switching it up as often as possible, but I just kept going back to back it because it was so insanely more efficient. With just 3 days remaining before XDefiant comes out and 3 million left to reach that now 48.5 mil that I needed, I could actually see that it was possible. I just needed to keep playing and never stop. I'd been getting about 1 million a day and needed to keep up that pace. I entered the last day before XDefiant comes out with 1 million left to achieve. I could see that I was now just 2% away from earning the Deep Pockets trophy. 2%. What the actual flip, bro? I was just thinking back to where I was back when the game first came out and thought about how far I had come and how the game had changed along with it. So I started up the stream for the last ever The Finals Deep Pocket session and was very excited. I made my way all the way up to the last few thousand that I needed. The problem was that I didn't know the exact amount the trophy would pop. So it could be in this game, the next game, or in like 5 games. So at that point it was just a waiting game. I just thought it was going to be around 48.5. And that guesswork turned out to be true. By the time I reached just under 48.5, somewhere in the middle of just another game, this happened. Oh my god, I just popped it! I just got it! Let's fucking go, dude!
Man.
I just got it. Holy shit. I'm not touching this shit. I could not believe it, because I had just gotten the grindiest trophy I had ever gone for. And it just randomly popped, just like in any other game. Someone in the squad deposited their few thousand they had on them, and boom, trophy. I was so beyond happy, there's no feeling that can describe the pure happiness that flowed through me. However, as you may have noticed, the platinum didn't pop yet. Now, if you paid close attention to the video or checked the trophy list yourself, you'll realize I am missing one trophy that I specifically saved for last. We were going back to where it should have started. The tutorial. What better way than to end the game with a trophy I should have started with? So I boot up the tutorial for the first time ever after having already spent close to 350 hours and almost 1700 matches in the game already, and I was very excited. I don't think I've ever been more excited to play a tutorial in a game before, but this was also pretty cool. I actually knew that they updated the tutorial from when the game first launched, but I wasn't expecting anything fancy, but this was just a full-blown actual tutorial, not just some boring thing. I followed the instructions using all of my great techniques, skills, and experiences I learned throughout, died in the middle of it, continued on, and... it's okay. There it is.
When you're ready,
There it is.
to the backstage and dive right into the real action.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Fucking did it, lads. I fucking did it, bro. 5 months and 3 hours it took me, but I was finally done. Or was I? Because I got the Deep Pockets trophy, but my mind wasn't satisfied. I didn't actually do the trophy because I didn't get 50 mil. Well, technically I did, but not according to the in-game tracker. So even though I finished the Platinum in time, I was able to play extra fine on day 1 and had done everything I wanted to inside of the finals. I decided to see if I could get the remaining 1.5 million before the end of the season. And once again, spicing things up a little, playing on PC with a mouse and keyboard, which I have never used before, but I was going to use that to get the remaining money I needed. So here's me getting the last few I needed on PC with mouse and keyboard, which I played for about 9 hours for a 15-second clip, so please like and subscribe. However, with that out of the way, it meant I had finally completed the finals. I loved the game, I still love this game, and I will keep loving this game. Thank you Embark for creating this masterpiece of an FPS game. I had a blast, just please don't ever make me do a grind like that again.
Sorry we had to put you through that, but congrats on getting the Platinum Trophy.
Yeah, nice one, Sandres. Not every contestant can become a finals frontrunner. Congrats!
And if you want to see me take on another Platinum, but this time in VR, then check out this video. And that's it. See ya!